Good old Jane Goodall. Jane Goodall. I once went ape over Jane Goodall. I really put myself into a corner on that one. Anyway, good evening, all you folks out there in YouTube land. Thrash Pondo here, and I'm here for another of my infamous Sunday night live chats. And I guess we've already started off like a ball of thunder. And unfortunately, no one's here yet. Hopefully, we will remedy that in the not too distant future. I'm always a couple minutes early because I always allow for a few catastrophic system failures. And touch wood, as of yet, I haven't had any. Oh, and look who's here. Keith E is here. It says, hello, hello. Uh, you can't hear me? Oh, dear. Hold that thought. Can you hear me now? The microphone is attached. And I got the little blue dot right here. So, can you hear me now? Well, obviously he can, or he'd have answered me. Or he's being passive aggressive. Maybe we're related. Oh, look who's here. Mr. Wilkinson says, good evening, Bob. Good evening. And, let's see here. Restart, install the latest. Oh my God, I am so sick of these unsolicited solicitations. And Zublix is here. Says, good evening. Let's is here. He says, hey, Thrash. And Zublix says, hello to Keith E. And, Keith E says, okay, there you are. I think the contact point, because I have to like plug everything through the same jack, and I think it was plugged in just enough to get the blue light, but not in enough where it actually transmitted a signal. I don't know if that makes sense to any of you actually people who know anything about computers, but hey, that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, Sean Indices says hello, early folks. That includes me. I'm always the first one here. It would be a cute trick if I wasn't. Justin's here from the Braidwood, and he says, hey, Thrash, have you seen the movie Dave is Doing? Oh, yes, but I can't remember what it is. But yes, I have seen it. And Indy's about to hear, he says, I hear you fine. More disturbingly, I can also see you. You have a great face for radio, don't I? Gary Carpenter's here says, hi there, everyone. I'm Bach. I'm Beethoven. Get it? See, I'll be back. I'll be Beethoven. It's an old shtick my friend and I used to do when we were watching Twilight's Terminator. But I said Twilight Zone because Lance says, I like the Twilight Zone. I won on Tug's stream. You sent me a picture of it. It's very nice. And speaking of the devil, Tug is here. He says, hello. Guys. I know I'm always extolling the wonders of Tug's channel and his retrospects, but you have got to see his retrospect on the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It is absolutely amazing. It's very well researched. It's fascinating. You got to check. Even if you're not a fan of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, you will like the retrospect. Just a lot of people having fellowship, saying hello to one another. Jenny's here, says greetings from South Carolina. Tug says Thrash would have been a great doctor. Scott, oh, thank you. Yes, I did. I had several things because I love the Rocky Horror growing up. You know, Tug, my dad took me to see Rocky Horror for the first time too. We went to Harvard Square in Boston. And I hadn't seen it, so I just kind of knew about it through the soundtrack and like a participation book my friend had. But I didn't really know much about it. My father knew nothing about it. He was up in Boston on business, asked me if I wanted to do something fun. I said Rocky Horror. He had no idea what he was agreeing to. And I got to tell you, the entire time we were there, because I've always been something of an oddball, as you probably know. My father's just kind of like looking around at all the spectacle and going, this explains a lot. And it certainly did. But yeah, my dad took me too. I think I was 16 when I first saw it. And but one of the things, a local theater group here on Cape Cod wanted to do a rendition of the stage play Rocky Horror. And they used to come to my restaurant to have their after parties. And they actually approached me. They wanted me to play Dr. Scott. Sadly, they kind of disbanded. They were hit really hard by the COVID thing. Massachusetts was very early hit, and we were all shut down. But thank you. I think, particularly if I use my German accent, which I think I have a better than average ability on, I think I very may have been able to do a Dr. Scott. But thank you very much. Oh, and Danny's giving us another link for Tug. Please give a link for yourself as well. And Sean says to Tug, just watched your Rocky Horror video. Was really well done. Yes, it was amazing. Oh, by the way, Patricia Quinn is Lady Stevens now. She married not someone who was just knighted. She married the landed gentry. She married Lord Stevens. So Patricia Quinn from Rocky Horror is Lady Stevens. Isn't that just amazing? And Lynn says, watched Eye of the Beholders still creepy, I'm guessing what you were trying to say. And yes, it really is. And of course, as you know, that was Ellie Mae from the Beverly Hillbillies. And Tug says, thank you so much, Thrasher. Quite welcome. And a lot of people saying hello to one another. Lance says, sorry about last night. Yeah, you said something, Lance, about how you got timed out on Chrissy's show during her live chat. Not sure. It was after I arrived, but I'm sure no harm done. Dominic D is here. Says, "Hey Bob, hey everyone, and hey to you there, DD." Justin says, "Tim Curry having a weird part is kind of par for the course for him after a while." My favorite anecdote about Rocky Horror actually has to do with Tim Curry. Tug, you mentioned the freak Jim run into each other. Richard O'Brien was in a local gym, and Tim Curry's, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" And Richard O'Brien's like, "Yes, I'm looking for weightlifters who can sing." And Tim Curry said, "Why do you need them to sing?" In this very sort of cheeky manner. And he said, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this like play, and I need a really, 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 really hot beefcake who can sing." And apparently, this was enough for Tim Curry to say, "I'm in." What's the deeds? But let's just see. A lot of people saying hello to one another. Oh, Gary Carter says, "What about last night?" I think he's because you were Gary. You were at BB and B's live chat as well, and apparently he was timed out for some reason. Not even he's sure why. Christopher says, "Good evening, Dominic D." John Coleman, God, John Collins here. John Collins is here, and he says, "Hello, Bob. I will be with you until the start of Dave's live stream, but then I will have to be departing for that one, good sir." More than understand, John. It's so nice to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. Don't be such a stranger, but I more than understand. What time is Dave's show starting tonight? I'm guessing it's around 9ish. Um, but keep me posted. But thank you for being here. As you can, Lynn says BB and B show some guy named Lobo time me out. How rude. Yeah, again, I'm sorry I wasn't there, so I wasn't sure exactly what was the sitch. Uh, and I'm just skip down. Oh, Ron Unprepared is here. Uh, wait, Ron Unprepared. Does that mean Uncle Joe? For some reason, I always get the channels mixed up. I know Ron Unprepared is either Scott's channel or Joe's channel. I think it's Uncle Joe. So Uncle Joe, if you're here with us tonight, that's great. If Scott, because usually you use your Mad Hatter, but whichever one of you wacky weirdos is here, thank you so much for joining us. I think it's Joe because I haven't seen you in a while. And Joe, so nice of you to pop on by. Welcome to the part. It is Joe because if I kept reading and Tug is here, he goes Joe. Anybody here that knows about Uncle Joe? You know Uncle Joe. He was the one scared to cut the cake. And I'm about to get copyright dinged if I keep going with that song. Um, John says 8 p.m. Central Time. Well, based on my count, 8 p.m. Central is 9 p.m. my time. So that should work out perfectly. What I'll probably do is I might wrap up a few minutes early because I know all you guys want to go to the show. I myself, sadly, as you know, got an early day tomorrow. Take the granddaughter to school. I got a couple things I got to do beforehand. So Monday mornings are always tough for me. But please tell Dave I said, hey, what and how now, and I'll watch him, of course, in the replay. And Mike Silva says, I wonder, wonder why. She ran, I just found the original to that on YouTube. Or at least one of the original renditions. And John Doe is here. He says, I'm here now. John, so great to see you. And I love those videos you sent me. He sent me 2 posts on possible celebrity serial killers, and one of them had to do with Bob Ross and his happy little clouds. I have a mint holder from that show that I was going to pop out while I made that point. But anyway, thank you so much for those posts. They were fascinating. Mike says, "Is this a Max Fleischer cartoon?" Sure, it is. And Justin says, "I only know Grandpa Joe." And Ron Prepared says, "Sorry, I haven't been here in a while." More than understand. I understand you have an incredibly busy schedule. Oh, by the way, that black and red thrash splash art looks like something out of a horror film. As I'm sure you all know, and if you don't, you will know. Uncle Joe is the one who made that for me, and I still use it in my posts. Gary Cameron says, at least it isn't Uncle Joe from Petticoat Junction. It is Uncle Joe, he's a moving little slow at the junction. Petticoat Junction. You know, my grandmother never let me watch that. She said it was too risque. The woman was a kook. Granted, okay, the girls are all skinny dipping in the water tower in the beginning. We don't see a thing. It was 60s primetime television, but it was the implication. She thought it was too, I keep coming back to the word risque. It's risque business. See what I did there? Anywho. Oh my God, Big Key on the air is here. He says, hey, big guy. Barry, how you doing? So amazing to see you. Welcome. Don't be such a stranger. And let me know if you want another radio guest spot. I love doing your show. And as I've said earlier tonight, I have the perfect face for radio. And I'm just gonna let's just see. And I jumped again. Holy cow. Oh, I'm already getting behind the game. Oh, here we are. Garrick says, Mike, she's down 91. Wow. John Doe says, tomorrow is going to be my birthday. Happy birthday, John. The big 2-9, huh? That was just a guess. I tell everybody that if I see a 90-year-old woman in the restaurant, she says it's her birthday, I go, the big 2-9, huh? Well, that's that old joke. A lady was 29 years old for years, and family all made fun of her for it and for saying it. And one day, her son, who's tired for people making fun of his mother, says, "You know what? Stop giving my mom a hard time. You know what? I know for a fact she's 29 because I'm 30 and she's been 29 my whole life." Mrs. Thrash is rolling her eyes. She says it's a stupid joke, but she's still eating the food I made for her. She had to work late tonight, poor thing. A lot of people saying, hi, happy birthday to John. Andy Spelt says, Fire Lake may be my favorite Bob Seger song. Oh, Mrs. Thrash is saying, yes, definitely. She gives me a wonderful gesture. Fire Lake, definitely in the top 5. I think Night Moves has to be my favorite. At the risk of going for the obvious, sometimes you got to go for the obvious. Night Moves is my favorite, but I'm very glad that you like Fire Lake. It is an amazing song. And Tab is here. Terrell Eugene Bellinger. Hello, Thrash. Happy Sunday, and happy Sunday to you too. Mike says, I may be wonderful, but I think you're wrong. It's happened in the past. And BK says, just saw The Mummy 1999 on the big screen again for the 25th anniversary. it's still awesome. Wasn't The Rock in the third one? I remember those movies were really big when I was in the video store. The Nostalgic Pod Blast is here, by the way. And he says, hi, Thrash Bondo Pawns, and all in chat. And hi to you too, by the way. Oh, and one thing, I want to take one moment. You even asked me about these and if Mrs. Thrash liked them. And you very nicely, you sent us some Grease trading cards. And we have one here of Duty Goodman. And we got this card here. Oh, when John Travolta's trying to join the baseball team. Had such a crush on her when this movie came out. um, what was the show this guy was on? He was on a show in the 50s. I can't remember what it was. I know he did that song Kooky Kooky Lend Me Your Comb. Mama Thrash will know. Apparently she remembered him. She had to explain to me who he was when the movie came out. Here we see the guys with Grease Lightning. Do you know that John Travolta was not supposed to sing the song in the movie? Jeff Conway was supposed to sing it, but at the last minute, John Travolta said, "Well, I want to sing it," and Jeff Conway says, "But it's my only song." And Travolta said, "But I want to sing it," and well, guess what happened? And of course, Stockard Channing. I want to thank you very, very, very much. Oh, also, and this, of course, decal of Fistful of Radio. I want to thank you again very, very much. The cards were great, and I kept them by the computer, which is in the other room. And I'm like, I gotta remember to bring them out so I can actually thank Chance personally and more thoroughly. And Mike still says, BK, what about the Dune sequel? I'm assuming you mean part two. Um, of course, it was an original trilogy, Children of Dune and Dune Messiah. I'm not sure. Are they even planning on doing those? And I jumped again, so give me one little secondy wackendy where I can go back here because I don't want to skip anybody this early in the supposed game. Because we've covered a lot of ground. Here we are. Boom, 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 boom. Sean says, "Oh, he's saying how to Pod Blast." Mike says, "Pod Blast Back to the Future movie is still the best." Tug says, "Might miss some of the chat doing chores while listening." I have to do that too a lot of the time. It's actually one of the reasons why and by the way, Chance, I really hope the offer to join you guys on the panel on Chrissy's Brain Benders and Banter live chat. I hope that stands, by the way. I would have loved to have hopped on. I was in the actually I was in the room because actually on the personal computer, just I was taking care of a bunch of correspondence bills, that minor stuff. So that's why I couldn't get away to come to the laptop. If I had known, I would have moved the camera to the PC. So I hope it's an existing offer because I would love to go down the road. Justin says Back to the Future is back in the theaters near me in May. Oh, well, that's really cool. Gary says your grandmother was crazy. You don't know the half of it. One was like something out of a Stephen King novel. Tug says might. Oh yeah, I already read that one. Sorry, Tug. Zerblick says she probably thought Naked City was pornography. Maybe that was before I was born, but this is a true story. She asked me what I was watching once, and I told her and I must have been like 12, 13. I told her the facts of life. And Mrs. Thrash looked at me laughing. She damn near had a heart attack. She thought I had like somehow I don't know what she thought, but she thought I managed to get like some pornographic channel or like some bizarre Swedish documentary or something. Almost turned the TV. I had to have her sit down and make her watch and show it's just a story about a girls' school, which didn't help my cause at all. Oh, so it's one of those movies. No, it is not one of those movies. But anyway, she had a heart attack. Apologies, Mrs. Ringwald. Miss Ringwald. Whatever, Ringwald. Let's just see. Dominic D says the dog was in the water tower skinny dipping with the girls. Yes, but it had its fur on. Sean says no, but even I imagined them in the water tower at Petticoat Junction. I was 4. I was 4 years old. I had no idea what they would have looked like in that condition, and it would have probably grossed me out if I had. But I I always had my suspicions that my grandmother was actually a very, very, very raunchy person, and that's why things suggestive things put her on the spot. Do you remember one of the funniest Benny Hill stories of all time? It was set in like the British Plymouth colony, and of course they were all Puritans. And there's a guy in the stock for having lascivious thoughts, and um, Benny Hill plays his friend who's not in the stocks, who's just there to kind of like support him. And this little maid comes by, and every sentence out of her mouth has some innuendo. And she needs a carpenter because she needs someone who can look at her chest. She can't find a man who can even get his hands on it. And Benny Hill, of course, starts daydreaming raunchily. And every time he has a lascivious thought, he just you wicked, sinful man, sinful, wicked man. And it's yeah, I think my grandmother was a Puritan. I think she constantly had impure thoughts and took it out on everyone else, um, projecting it on them. Wow, we went deep for that one, didn't we? But I'm gonna press on here. Uh, let's just see. Oh, Pablo says Big King of the Air is the best. He certainly is. Um, uh, Danny's giving us a link. Thank you. Teb says, which offbeat 60s sitcom do you like better? Mr. Ed, my favorite Martian, Bewitched, The Addams Family, The Monsters, I Dream of Jeannie, Get Smart, The Flying Nun, or The Ghost of Mrs. Muir. Oh, the Munsters and the Addams Family were neck and neck. I must have told you when I was a kid I had fantasies about being a kid in the Addams Family. But the Munsters, Herman was just so sweet and lovable. I did like Mr. Red. Loved horses, and talking horses would be even better. Didn't really watch much of My Favorite Martian. It was never out of my area. Bewitched was great. Get Smart was great. My father loved that one. I Dream of Jeannie. Mrs. Muir was great, and The Flying Nun had its moments. So Andrew says, yes, those gals had no concept of hygiene. And Joe says, the big 49 for myself. You're not no 49 years old. Really? I thought I was like 20 years older than you, dude. I thought you were like in your 30s. Really? Well, you hide it better than I do. And happy birthday again, prelated. Chan says, oh, Genie was his pick. Danny's giving us another link. Mike liked the Munsters. Oh my gosh, Tracy's here. Tracy, Bubba, how you doing? So great to see you. Glad you could join us. Zublex like the Adams Family. Gary Cameron says, I've been 40 for the last 20 years. I'm going to be 57. 57 in August. You know what 57 is? 57 is almost 60. When you tell people you're 57, they go, "Oh, you're almost 60." I don't want to be almost 60. It's taken me 7 years to comprehend being in my 50s. The only consolation is Mrs. Thrash is going to be 61st. She's a cradle robber. She was actually born in January. I was born in August. So every year on her birthday, I get to torture her for 8 months. Oh, the charm has not gotten out of our marriage. Hasn't it, hun? I say, hasn't it, hun? She's either not speaking to me, has the headphones on. Either way, I'm not going to press my luck. Dominic D like Genie and Munsters. That'd be a great crossover. Shannon says, tough question, Teb. I watched all those in reruns. I'm gonna scroll down here carefully. Oh, Pablo's like Back to the Future. John Doe says, I like Turn the Page more than Night Moves. Turn the Page is an amazing song. I don't know if Bob Seger made a bad song. If anyone can think of a bad Bob Seger song, please feel free to enter it in the comments below if I ever get to them. I remember Hollywood Nights. I wasn't a huge fan of. It wasn't a bad song. It wasn't one of my faves, but I gotta tell you, I love the music video. I remember when I thought it actually was from a movie soundtrack. Oh, I'm buffering again. Damn. And Lance says, yes, The Rock was a Scorpion King. And Cindy Diaz here says, hello, everyone. Cindy, hello to you. So glad you could make it. And Daryl Johnson is here. He says, Bob, other brother Daryl, how you doing? And a lot of people saying hi to Cindy and uh, Mr. Johnson. And Podblast says, I'm sorry, Gary says to Podblast, what did the duck say about being in a time machine? He said, put it on my bill. Pablo says Hawaiian Eye, and Hawaiian Eye to you too, by the way. Zublik says 77 Sunset Strip. Thank you. That's the guy from Cheers, the one who played the Cheers. Am I going senile? Oh, that she heard. She just said yes. Thanks, hon. No, it was Grease. That's the instant of Grease. And Tem says, which outlandish 60s TV show do you like better? Gilligan's Island, F Troop, Hogan's Heroes, My Mother the Car, or Batman? I never watched My Mother the Car. I never watched My Mother. I heard about it, and I got a big kick out of the concept, but I never actually watched it. Loved Batman, probably my favorite of the group. I did love Gilligan's Islands. Hogan's Heroes was actually a pretty solid show. I must confess I liked F Troop, but if you try watching it today, you can't get through the opening credits. It's beyond cringy. It's like scringy. And Pablo says sticker. Oh, yeah. This is. Oh, I call it a decal. I something that adheres to something. Yes, sure, it's a sticker. A decal is more for like an iron-on thing for clothing. But yes, but thank you very much for it. And Sean Innes is saying hello again to Daryl Johnson. See, we can't get enough brother Daryl. Oh, and Podblast also says 77 Sunset Strip is right. And Dominic D says, I don't even remember those Grease bubblegum cards. I remember a lot of movies had bubblegum cards at the time. I don't necessarily remember Grease at the time. I remember Star Wars. I remember Close Encounters. There were a couple others that I remember. But yes. And here, where are we going here? Ed Kooky Burns, and it's Joe for the win. Yes, Ed Kooky Burns. Kooky. I can't remember if Mama Thrash had a crush on him or not. Some people, she just remembered. Some people she remembered, like, oh, when I was a kid, oh. But either way, she did remember Kooky Burns. Braid Justin says Hogan's Heroes was very well written, but about as historically accurate as I can't even think of a metaphor. But yes, it was well written. And somewhere in my mother's papers, she had a personal letter written to her from Robert Claret, which I think is the coolest thing in the world. But oh, look who's here! Dave Sundstrom is here. Says tonight is members only. Super. Oh, Dave, thank you so much for coming by. I can't imagine how busy you are right now getting ready for your show. The fact that you came by this one means the world to me. Thank you very, very, very much. So glad you could stop by. And I'm telling everyone to go to your show after mine. I'll probably pull the plug a little early on mine. So as to not encumber. And if you wonder why I'm pausing in between every other word, it's because holy cow, am I far back? I better get to all the comments before I have to shut her down. But yes, I'll make sure that I wrap up early so people can get to your members' show. And oh my God, how could I possibly get this far back? Cindy D says message retracted to you as well. I'm gonna. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, so I'm caught up, and I'm going to fly through these. So I miss everyone. Please forgive me. A lot of people are saying hello to one another, and a howdy all, and stuff like that. And I'm going through rapidly. Okay, I want to catch everybody who just popped in. The entertainment headquarters here. Kevin is here. How you doing? He says, "Hope everyone is well." Yes. Oh, and I keep meaning to get back to you. By the way, yes, I definitely want to go ahead and do that Shogun retrospect panel with Anubis on the date you mentioned. May it's in the message you sent me. But yes, count me in. And a lot of people saying hello. My flock is here. She says yes, Palms, definitely. I'm assuming that's to the ask if it was an open invitation to join you guys on a later panel. Thank you. And my flock has given us a link. Thank you for that link. Mike says, "Say what is it anyhow? I hear it's a kind of gorilla. Gee, ain't we got enough of them in New York?" Yes, we certainly do. Ellen Miller says, "Hi, y'all. Sorry I'm late. Quite all right, quite all right. I'm so far behind. You could have been here 20 minutes ago and I wouldn't have noticed." Zubik says, "Did you know Dustin Hoffman appeared in Naked City?" Um, I know he appeared in Midnight Cowboy. I didn't know about Naked City. Tab says, "Do you remember the short-lived TV series sitcom The Girl with Something Extra with Sally Fields, John Davidson, the young married couple, but the wife had ESP, extra sense of perception?" I don't, but I'm going to watch The Girl with All the Gifts this week. By the way, so many people have said you have to watch it that I'm just like breaking down and watching it. Emma Miller says, "Facts of Life with Bob Hope and Lucille Ball was great." Was it true about those two? I've been trying to find a movie she made during World War II called Meet the People for about 20 years. Um, I remember it as being one of those really cool wartime movies, and you just can't find it anywhere. Zublik says, "Remembered it, but I didn't watch it." Tug says, "Hello to all I've missed. Dishes. You missed the dishes?" Joe says, "Thrash, why not review the great movie Kong Lives?" Um, I don't know if I've seen it, but John, I love your idea about the '60s cartoons. That's probably, in fact, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a channel update. I was going to do it today, but I just didn't. I have no excuse. I just didn't. Um, but I'm going to mention I have some preemptive notes on 60s, 70s, and 80s cartoons I'm reviewing. Keithy says 7:45. So I'm 15 minutes behind. Great. I'm going to try to race through here. My phone's giving us the link. A lot of people saying hello to one another. Oh my God, number one dude is here. Says happy Sunday, Thrash Pondo. Number one dude, so glad you could make it. Welcome to the party. Cindy D says, "I'm good. Thank you, Lance. Did Thrash do the Love Boat trivia? I haven't got a chance to watch last week." I did. And I did it in your honor as you requested. Please watch and tell me how you did at your earliest convenience. Emily says, "Sarah, apparently Lance still can't see you." Oh, poor thing. And Tab says, "Do you remember the infamous short-lived late '70s sitcom Holmes and Yo-Yo about a cop and his android partner?" Remember it, loved it, heartbroken when they canceled it. As you know, Mr. Shuck later went on to do the reboot of The Monsters, where he played Herman. I thought he was great. Oh, Tracy says, "Hi, Robert. Thank you for the links, Sarah." And Lynn says to Cindy, "Yes, he did them in your honor. Thank you." And Emily Miller says, "I'm good, Kenneth, or at least I'm getting there. How are you?" Kevin says, "Thrash, did you get my message?" Yes, in fact, that was what I was referring to before. I'm assuming you've already pieced these two together. But yes, I got your Facebook message. So sorry I haven't gotten back to you, but color me in like Flynn. Cindy D says, thanks, Super. I told him to carry on. I'll have to go find it. Please, please does. Please does. It's just last week's chat. Should be pretty easy to find. Gary Carpenter says, all of them, especially the Adams family. Oh, getting back to those old shows. Uh, Kevin says, I am gonna be watching the classic Time Machine, the 1960 version with Rod Taylor. Possibly my favorite rendition. Dan, the Big Newsman, says, I'm ready for trivia. Excellent. As soon as I'm caught up, Dan, I promise you we will start it. It's on classic music tonight. And oh, there's Dave says, hey, y'all. And everybody saying hi to Dave. Number one dude says, good stuff in the house. Key says, like number 9, we can do better than that. Oh, like number 9. Hey, we're up to 13 now, but there's 28 in the chat. A lot of people saying hello to Dave. More links being dropped. Thank you. A lot of people thanking Teb for his link drop. Dave says, I've got to get my weekly dose of thrash. Dave, I want to thank you so much. I will give you as much thrash as you can handle. And Dan says, I'm 54. Remember the year pounds. The year pounds. I will remember the year pounds. And Danny's giving us another link. Thank you. Cindy says, hey, Thrash, I'm 57 already. I'm right behind you. And Emily Miller says, don't we all, Dave? Oh, thank you, Emily. That's awesome. That's awesome. And John says, oh, I had to roll out for about 4 minutes. Did someone say that Back to the Future was in the theaters again in May? Is that nationwide or just in this area? That'd be awesome. It was nationwide. It's the 40th anniversary. Yeah, it has to be the 40th anniversary. I'm just going to kind of scroll through. Kevin says, if you could go in a time machine, what place in history would you like to visit? Probably just I don't know. I kind of found the early 20th century to be kind of fascinating. The sort of political intrigue between the European powers. Oh, Zach is here. Zach says, "Hi everyone, cracking me up, Thrash." Zach, thanks for joining us and welcome to the chat. Zublik says 1963. Time Machine was 63. You sure? That sounds a bit late to me, but I'll take your word for it. And I'm just going to skip through here. Mike Silva says 19. Oh, I see. We're telling you about years we would go back to. Now I'm with you. I'm gonna have to kind of skim through, guys. Cindy says singer Prince didn't see the appeal of Bob Seger. That's why he wrote Purple Rain. Really? That's why he wrote Purple Rain. And Dave says tonight's members only. Super. Gary Cameron says I remember a song called Night Moves. Yeah, it's again my favorite Bob Seger song. Justin says UMC is kind of annoying. Seger song. It's another song about $1 million rock star trying to relate to the working man. And I'm going to. Oh, Mrs. Thrash says her favorite song is actually Catmandu. And again, with Bob Seger, there is no wrong answer. I can't think of a single Bob Seger song that is bad. The worst I can say is not in my favorite, but none of them are bad. But yes, I will give her Catmandu. Emily Miller says my mother, the car was cute. They never played in my area. I just never saw it. I just remember thinking the premise was funny. Dave says 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tracy is the movie club live stream. We'll be talking about Logan's Run and Overboard. Oh, and Dave, I'm gonna have to watch and replay. By the way, as you know, Monday mornings are difficult for me. I gotta get up early, so I will not be able to make it. But I will watch a replay when I finally get around to my morning coffee. I'm just gonna if I miss anybody's comments, please forgive me. I'm just trying to, as it really says, I assume Sunday would be like most Sundays, open to all. Oh, I see. Yeah. And oh, Emily just jumped. Hang on, I'm gonna try to get back to. Oh wow, I'm way behind. Holy cow, am I way behind? Oh, hang on. Oh, I'm not so far behind. I shot past, but I couldn't find. Oh, Daryl. Kevin says Friday the 17th of May at 1 p.m. Me, you, and DJ Anubis doing Shogun will be a blast. It certainly will. Looking forward to it. And oh, and Emily says, I think I was here 20 minutes ago. Yes, you see. And I think that was the comment I missed. So I'm going to kind of scroll down really quickly. Cindy says Grease was supposed to star Henry Winkler and Susan Day. They were popular TV stars, but couldn't sing. I never knew that. That's a great fact. Music Girl says, hi there, everyone. As usual, I'm late, but it's great to see Thrash and everyone else. Again, I hope y'all are enjoying first Sunday of April the final Sunday of April 2024. We certainly are, especially now that you're here. So glad you could join us, Music Girl. I know Sundays are difficult for you. Face the Ace is here. Says hello. Face the Ace. So glad you could make it. Welcome to the party. Oh, Wajamin is here. He says hello to Face. They're saying hello to one another. So glad you guys could make it. Welcome to the party. If someone could give a link to Wajamin, that'd be great. He love his comedy stuff. Music Girl says, hello there, Waj. Oh, she's saying hello to everybody in the chat. Excellent, excellent. Melissa Foster says, hi, Thrash Pondo, and to all. Hello to you as well, by the way. I'm just going to kind of skim through because I really think we should get to the music trivia. Oswald says, that's why his trivia is so hard. Yeah, 'cause I can't get to it. So if I miss anyone, please forgive me. And if I missed anyone's, oh, Johnny Orchard is here. Says, "Hey Thrash, just showing my support. Yes, no worries. I will try again this week. Hey Tug, yes, me too, me too. I meant to call you this weekend, but the weekend just got away from me. As always, I will try to call you this week. You know what? I'll send you a text. I'll send you a text probably tomorrow and see what worked good for this week. Does that work for you? But anyway, Johnny, so glad you could stop by. Anyway, now, Sydney says loved Lucy's early film noir movies. I believe her first work was a Three Stooges episode, Three Little Pigskins. And with that, I'm going to start today's music trivia. Mrs. Thrash got me this new music trivia kit, and it's really good. It's not multiple choice. I made it multiple choice. Her game that she got me, you have to actually guess the answer. But in the interest of total fairness and fun, I made it multiple choice by adding other chances. And as always, I'm going to start in no particular order. Number 10. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong. Hang on. Uh-oh. Is this it? Give me a second. Ah, this was the Lobo trivia from last week. This is today's trivia. Frank Zappa co-created the 80s cult hit Valley Girl with his daughter blank. Was it A, Laser, B, Moon, C, Rainbow, or D, Venus? I shall repeat. Frank Zappa co-created the 80s cult hit Valley Girl with his daughter whom? A, Laser, B, Moon, C, Rainbow, or D, Venus? Oh, and by the way, I got this. It came with the game. I was thinking about using it if you folks needed more time for guesses, but apparently you don't. Although I'm seeing something of a spread here. And actually, yes, a couple of you already. Well, I'll wait till I pull the plug on this one before I fill out the rest. But Let's just see here. Oh, thank you for hitting the like, music girl. Give it a few more seconds. I don't know if I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna keep it around because I think it's cute. I might use it for future incarnations, but you guys are usually really on the spot. Keith says, let's start with question one for a change. Really? Well, I already started with 10. I tell you what, Keith, because you asked from now on, instead of doing it like my top 10 list, next week I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next week I will. Out of MOO spells moon. For you Stephen King fans in the audience. Yes, it's actually Moon Unit. I put Moon, but technically it's Moon Unit. Is the correct answer. So Moon Unit Zappa is the correct answer. Moving on now to number 9. What band formed in 1970 are at times referred to as the Bad Boys from Boston? Was it A. Aerosmith, B. Boston, C. Cars, or D. The Dropkick Murphys? Oh, and I put them in order there. Did you notice that? It's all a little alphabetically. Here, I'll show you again. What band formed in 1970 are at times referred to as the Bad Boys from Boston? Is it A. Aerosmith, B. Boston, C. Cars, or D. Dropkick Murphys? And Kevin says, "Can you all lay?" Oh, I'm guessing that's "Catch you all later." The current. I'm coming again. Can you all later? It's currently 1 a.m. and I need to go to bed. Be fun once again, Thrash. Glad AI could at least be here for some of your Sunday stream. Have a good week and see you again later. I'm extrapolating through that you have to hit the sack more than understand. Have a great night. We'll see you later. Oh, Emily says I know songs, not bands. Well, guess. Just take a wild stabbing guess. It's cool. Um, what's the best known band from Boston? Oh, I just gave a hint, didn't I? Let's just see here. We were just another band out of Boston. Anyway, the correct answer is actually A, Aerosmith. But any of those would actually work. Dropkick Murphys was particularly funny because I don't know if there's any SNL fans out there, but I was watching a bit, and I remember from when they first did it years ago. It was about a movie set in Boston called Boston Accent, and there's we're jokingly referred to it as they say it was 75 new songs by the Dropkick Murphys that all sound like this. Everything by the Dropkick Murphys sounds the same. Every song they ever did sounds exactly the same. And oh, Jonathan says Wahlburgers. They're flakes. By the way, the A Aerosmith, excellent. Although a lot of people did get Boston, and Boston is not a bad guess. Anyway, number 8. What hit song by 1970s band Blue Suede features on the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack? Was it A, Spirit in the Sky, B, Hooked on a Feeling, C, Go All the Way, or D, Ooh Child? They actually wrote it like that on the listing. But anyway, I shall repeat. What hit song by 70s band Blue Suede features on the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack? A, Spirit in the Sky, B, Hooked on a Feeling, C, Go All the Way, or D, Ooh Child? Johnny says, ooh, ooka chaka, ooka. Gee, apparently everyone has seen the Guardians of the Galaxy and is a big fan of their soundtrack. Arguably one of the best soundtracks of all time. Contenders could also be like we haven't beaten this matter to death. Um, Heavy metal is probably my favorite soundtrack of all time. But again, there are other contenders as well. But Tug says all of those are Guardians of the Galaxy songs, but only one by Blue Suede. Precisely. You see, Tug gets it. Oh, Blue Suede only sang one of those songs. Justin says there's another version of Hooked on a Feeling where the uka chaka isn't as prominent. Yes, yes, and I forgot who done that version, but Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Ha! Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Um, John says, The Wrath of Khan. Okay, I'll buy that. I'll buy that. Then he says, ooh. And Sean says, my sister is not a sci-fi fan, but soundtrack is so good, she would love it. A lot of people did. Oh, Tab has a good factoid here. Hooked on a Feeling was actually a cover. It was originally done by B.J. Thomas. Wow, I think I actually knew that and forgot it, but I didn't know it at this moment, so thank you for the factoid. But the correct answer is, in fact, Blue Suede. Blue Suede did the version. If we haven't already covered that, I know we started just chatting about everything, and now I'm going to move on to question 7. What group wrote the soundtrack for the 1980 cult classic film Flash Gordon? Was it A, Pink Floyd, B, Toto, C, Blue Oyster Cult, or D, Queen? And I can't believe I added this because I'm pretty sure, I was going to say, we've talked about this on dozens of occasions, haven't we? Still, it's one of my favorite fun facts. And I decided that I wanted people to actually have a fighting chance for once. My lethal trivia questions have become almost legendary. So I decided for once we're going to have a nice, fun game. Oh, and Melissa says, I remember that BJ Thomas did that song. Mama Thrash did have a crush on BJ Thomas, by the way. What was the song by him that she raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean that I'm wet. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to repeat the question, even though I don't need to. What group wrote the soundtrack to the 1980 classic science fiction film Flash Gordon? A, Pink Floyd, B, Toto, C, Blue Oyster Cult, or D, Queen? Oh, yes, Music Girl says, rest in heavenly peace, B.J. Thomas. Definitely, definitely. Oh, Emily says, I had a music box with that raindrop song. Oh, that's so cute. Sean says, Thrash. Ah, he'll save every one of us. Thrash. Ah, thank you. And Garrett Cameron says, he also did Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. Yes. This is the beauty of what I can actually keep up. We can actually come up with things at the same time. Chen says D Queen, they could not use the Flash Gordon music in Bohemian Rhapsody since Universal owns Flash G and the 20th Century Fox did the movie. Wow. Wow, that's a great factoid. Thank you. And yes, of course, it is in fact D. It was supposed to be Pink Floyd. They wanted Pink Floyd, but Pink Floyd was busy with the Wall at the time. Toto actually did Dune, and we all know my Blue Oyster Cult soundtrack bit. What had happened was with the heavy metal soundtrack, when they were coming with the heavy metal soundtrack, they approached Blue Oyster Cult and said, "Would you like to do music for it?" And they had it stuck in their head it was going to be like Pink Floyd or Queen. They go, "Oh, they want us to write the whole soundtrack. That's fun!" And they went to the studio and they recorded enough songs for an entire movie soundtrack. And then the people at heavy metal said, "No, no, we want one. We want one." And it's only used for about 15 seconds. So it was a complete waste of their time and talent. But that's where Fire of Unknown Origin comes from. Fire of Unknown Origin is most of those songs. Number 6, and then scores. What 70s rock band was named after a band member's former high school gym teacher? Was it A, Jethro Tull, B, Buffalo Springfield, C, Leonard Skinner, or D, Molly Hatchet? I love coming up with silly answers to serious questions. I'll repeat. What 70s rock band was named after a band member's former high school gym teacher? A, Jethro Tull, B, Buffalo Springfield, C, Leonard Skinner, or D, Molly Hatchet? Did anybody say D? No, but you guys are all over tonight's trivia. I am so proud of all of you. Chin says, same here, Gary Carpenter. I have Flash Gordon on 60 millimeter film. Wow. And Blu ray and Laserdisc. I have the soundtrack CD too. I think I have it on videotape. That's all I have it on. And Gary Carpenter says, my favorite album is Yellow Submarine. I used to have that movie. I gave it to a friend as a compensatory gesture. I broke something of his, and I said, "Take something of my collection to make it up to you." And he picked Yellow Submarine. But I know I've told you guys this many, many times out of sheer nostalgia. When I was like 8, 9 years old, a local TV station on Thanksgiving would show Yellow Submarine and then Help as a double feature. And because even though I was a kid, I could stay up late because there was no school the Friday after Thanksgiving. So a Thanksgiving tradition in my family is me and my cousins would all bundle up and watch Yellow Submarine. Usually would fall asleep during Help. Not that it's a bad movie, but you're talking like 11 o'clock at that point. But I digress. Yes, it was in fact Leonard Skinner. C. And Keithy says, I have Thrash Gordon on a t shirt with somebody else's name. Yeah, mine. It's on your Facebook page, and I absolutely love it, and I want to thank you. And how about some scores, guys? And then we'll do the second part. Justin says, I broke your Abbey Road. Here's the Stone's Emotional Rescue. It was something like that, actually. It was actually, you know what it was? Oh, Mario Van Peebles, his father, Melvin Van Peebles. He made this. It was a black exploitation film. It was a gangster movie. I think it was called Sweet Baby Sweet Baby Badass's Revenge. Some of the, it's an amazing movie. It's a great movie. It's considered one of the first black exploitation films. And my friend loaned it to me, and then I loaned it out to another friend who never gave it back to me. So I had to compensate the associate whose property I had lost. And now I want to see that Melvin Van Peebles movie again. It's a great movie. Oh, you know what? I really should have been paying attention because you guys give me your scores. I'm just like blabbing away. Let's just see here. I'm about to report someone out. Sean Ennis is 5 for 5. Excellent. Tracy is 5 for 5. Excellent. Watch Meet is 5 for 5. Emily Miller is 4 for 5. You didn't get that band question, huh? Tug is funt for funt. Funt for funt. Fear. Fumpf for fumpf is German for 5 for 5. Cindy is 5 for 5. John is 5 for 5. Melissa is 5 for 5. Superplex is 3 for 3 because I couldn't recall which letters were the other two. Give yourself 5 for 5. We'll do the honor system. I'm sure you would have done them. Justin is 4 for 5. Tim is 5 for 5. Gary Cameron says, you should break the Stones album. Yuck. Ooh. Ouch. Mean. Music Girl says, yay, this quiz is right up my alley. 5 out of 5. Yippee, skippy. Yeah, Music Girl. Gee, I wonder how you would have an edge in this game. Number D is 5 for 5. Tug is saying something else in German. Oh, Sean is saying something in German. In fact, Minuten. Bitte, meine Deutsch ist kaputt. And Indy Spell says, Sweetback's badass song. Sweetback's badass song. Indy for the win, yes. One of my favorite fun facts about that film, this is crazy. He actually used real gangsters as supporting characters in the film, right? And they had a rule. They had a rule on the set. If you were actually packing, you had to check your gun with the armorer before you could go on the set. That was rule one. They also had a prop man handing out prop guns for the purposes of filming some of the gangster fighting scenes. With me so far? Apparently, some of the gangsters who weren't SAG members got these two people confused. And some people checked their real guns with the prop man. Like, oh, here's, and the prop man's like, oh, this must be one of the props that I had given out earlier. Thank you. Which he then gives out to someone else. There was one day where two or three live guns loaded were actually all out during the filming, and they didn't realize it until the end of the day. Some of them were actually fired. Some of them were actually, and at the end of the day, Melvin realized he's like, "Ugh, ugh." They could have killed people. They could have killed not just actors, bystanders, but apparently, by some miracle, no one was hurt. But isn't that a crazy factoid? Um, but anyway, let's get back and round out the last part of the game. Question 5. 60s mega poet, singer, mega genius Jim Morrison. Yes, I am man crush on him. Was affectionately known by what nickname? A. The Lizard King, B. The Mad Hatter, C. The Candyman, or D. King Dinosaur? I shall repeat. 60s singer, I'll come in again. 60s poet, singer, mega genius Jim Morrison was affectionately known by what nickname? A. The Lizard King, B. The Mad Hatter, C. The Candyman, or D. King Dinosaur? Oh, Chan says Sunday, May 12th, 2024 at 3 p.m. to Danny Staten. Excellent. Let's see. Music Girl 67, Jim was truly beautiful. Oh, look who's here. Mystery Men and Monsters is here. He says, E, Puff the Magic Dragon. It would have been an appropriate nickname for him, M. And thank you so much for stopping by. It's so great to see you. Welcome to the game. And yes, Jim Morrison was such a hero of mine when I was like in high school. I was absolutely convinced he was still alive. Until I met a man who actually knew him. And he said in so many words, he died. And if he didn't die then, he's certainly dead by now. So I kind of threw in the towel. But yes, this gentleman, he was a musician who had somehow worked with him, and he said yes, he was such a raving ignatist there was absolutely positively no way he could stay underground for this long. He would have had to have made his presence known. The only way he wouldn't have come out of seclusion is if he actually was in fact dead. And Pablo says, sorry, Thrash Bondapons. I'm networking while you are trying to conduct trivia. No, no, no. Some channels have a huge problem with self-mention, self-promotion. I have no such ruling here. In fact, I think the best thing YouTubers can do for one another is to help cross-promote each other's channels. And God knows I'm not above asking for that from you guys. So no, anything you can do to cross-promote is more than welcome, actually encouraged. I'd be more hurt if you didn't. But here's something funny, and I'm not going to name what channel this was. For those of you who wonder why my channel live chat wasn't mentioned on like last week on my Facebook page, it was. One of my Facebook friends had sent me this link saying, "Oh, you should check out this channel. You'll love it. It's like right up your alley." And it was, well, I won't say what it was because it was something retro vintage, of course. But I don't want bad blood. But I joined, they accepted. I didn't even post anything on their page or share or send. I just joined. And later on that day, I got a notice from Facebook. Oh yes, one of your we've taken down one of your postings. Um, Someone complained about it. I'm like, who? And this new this new group I had just joined went on to my site and said, you know what? Boom. And they took down one of my and what you guys know, it's just me saying this is the date and time for my next live chat. So I unjoined that group. But no, but here you guys self promote all you wanted. Did I even bother to actually? Well, anyway, you guys all knew it. It was the Lizard King. Yes, he was the Lizard King. I'm still not entirely sure how he got that nickname, but it's a great nickname. I was also into dinosaurs as a kid. Still am. Number four, these anti-establishment mega rockers didn't need. Oh, I have to come in again. These anti-establishment mega rockers didn't need no education or thought control back in 1979. Was it A, Pink Floyd, B, Twisted Sister, C, Black Sabbath, or D, the Beach Boys? I shall repeat. These anti establishment mega rockers didn't need no education or thought control back in 1979. Was it A, Pink Floyd, B, Twisted Sister, C, Black Sabbath, or D, Beach Boys? And I was expecting at least one ironic answer. Someone saying, "Oh, the beach." Ah, there it is. Cindy D says, "The Beach Boys." LOL. Yeah, I know, right? Anti-establishment. My dingo's kidneys. The group that gave us "Are You Sitting Down?" Be true to your school, like you would to your girl. Ugh, like I won't make any nasty gestures, but like, blech. Well, that's a nasty gesture. But that's as nasty as I'll get. But yes, that was the ironic answer. Kerry Carver says Sting Floyd. Not a fan, huh? John says, "Shout on you, crazy diamond. Love it, love it." Music Girl says their only number one and top 10 hit, "Another Brick in the Wall." I know, right? But anyway, yeah, you guys all got it. It was Pink Floyd. A. Number three. What band formed in 1974 featured band members with the same adopted surname? Was it A, the DeFranco family, B, the Brothers Johnson, C, the Carpenters, or D, the Ramones? What band formed in 1974 featured band members with the same adopted surname? A, the DeFranco family, B, the Brothers Johnson, C, the Carpenters, or D, the Ramones? And I knew, given that many family bands, I knew I'd throw somebody. City's like D. I guess maybe. uh, oh, John says they are great to play solos with their music, not them. I'm not sure which one you're referring to, John, but I'm sure you're right. Sean says Gabba Gabba Hey. Uh, Yo Gabba Gabba. My granddad used to watch that constantly. Uh, Justin says Johnson. Yeah, the brothers Johnson. Strawberry Let 22. Oh, song is so far out of my range, I can't sing it. But in any way, I won't keep you guys in suspenders. Cindy D says message retracted. It was D, the Ramones. And do you guys know where they got the name Ramones? A little bonus factoid. Um, During an interview with the Beatles, I can't remember if it was, I think it was Paul, not John in this case, but it could have been John. They were asking them like where they got the name the Beatles, and because it was such an iconic name, and they were like, they talked about how they came up with it, but they go, it was really more about our music than our name. We could have called ourselves, I don't know, the Ramones. And so when the Ramones were being formed, they said, "Yeah, you're right. We can actually." It was basically an homage to this sort of anecdote. Like we're gonna pick this throwaway name that the Beatles were using or made reference to, and that'll be our name. And then the shtick was they took the name Ramon as their last name, so it was like they're all brothers, when in fact they weren't. All the other groups were in fact related. Well, the Carpenters, obviously. Although I'm sure at least one person said, "Were the Carpenters related?" But yeah, the DeFranco family from Canada, they were brothers and sisters, and of course the brothers Johnson were brothers. And now we move on to question 2. Having sufficiently muddled the mix, the movies Tommy and Quadrophenia are based on the works of this English mega band. A. Pink Floyd. Boy, they've come up a lot this time, haven't they? B. Led Zeppelin. C. The Who. Or D. Rush. I shall repeat. The movies Tommy and Quadrophenia. Have you seen Quadrophenia, man? Are based on the works of this English mega band. A. Pink Floyd. B. Led Zeppelin. C. The Who. Or D. Rush. Let's skim through. Oh, Tug says, my son was partially named after Tommy. Oh! I hope he doesn't have an Uncle Ernie. Sorry. But my wife and I were just talking about that. So many people are named after references from TV shows, movies, that type of thing. Of course, the one that drives me the most crazy is all the Bellas. All the Bellas because of Twilight. Mrs. Thresh hates the idea. She didn't, even though she's really into like vampire like lore, like our first date, as I'm sure you guys know, was Interview with a Vampire. But it drives you crazy. Humans and vampires cannot have children, and they do in Twilight, and it bothered her. Oh, John Doe says the Beatles was originally called the Silver Beatles, and the drummer said they are not going anywhere. So they left. Ringo came, so he left. Ringo came in and got rid of Silver, and the rest is history. Indeed, it is. Indeed, it is. And he says, I always wondered why your son was named the Acid Queen. Oh, Indy, you slay me. Um, oh, the Pinball Wizard. That's another one. John says Eric Clapton played the Pinball Wizard on the album. There's a bell ringing in my head. That's probably tinnitus, but I think I knew that at one point. But yes, yes, it's the Who. It's the Who. Very, very well done. Oh, and the number one song, Lady Gaga took her stage name from where? A song by Queen. B, a popular sandwich featured in her father's deli. C, the name of a turtle in a French children's show. Or D, it is an abbreviation of the name of her hero, Gal Gadot. I shall repeat. This is a good one, if I say so myself, and I do. Lady Gaga took her stage name from where? A, the song by Queen. B, a popular sandwich in her father's deli. C, the name of a turtle in a French children's show. Or D, it's an abbreviation of her hero, Gal Gadot. And let's see if we got any takers. Not for a second, huh? Not for a second. Oh, John does his thresh. Don't know if you answered, but are you going to watch the Summer Olympics? I hadn't answered. John, forgive me. I must have missed that question. I was when I was scrolling down so that we could start the trivia. I must have missed that one. In answer to your question, thanks for repeating. Probably not. I'm not much a sports fan. While Raddick, if anyone else asked a question that I missed while we were getting ready to do the trivia, I apologize. Please repeat the question. I will happily try to read it and answer it. Cindy D says, Thrash, I said this one before. Or I said this one before, Thrash. Um, Did you? I'm sure you did. But to be honest, that one, all the fun was coming up with the ironic questions, or they're not really ironic, fake questions. I thought the fake questions were actually more interesting than the real question, the real answer, which is yes, it was Queen. um, Tug says her first words. I almost used that. But I thought the abbreviation of Gal Gadot was funnier. Gary Garber says Eva Marie Saint is now 99. Music Girl 67 says Radio Gaga failed to reach the top 10 in 1984. Fantastic music video, though. It certainly was. It certainly was. And I thought it was a great song. A lot of people thought it was a little repetitive, but I really liked it. Justin says that's because Queen stuff after the game was pretty bad. They had some hurrahs in there. I will grant you. They're they were not quite the genius they had been before, but there were some good songs. Sean says to Gary, amazing. Eva is pretty amazing. She certainly is. Emily says, Liz, all of Queen's music was awesome. I loved it. I loved it when I was a kid. Cindy says, We Are the Champions is a B side. Yeah, I know, right? And John Doe says, I really like the opening and closing ceremonies. They really are amazing. They really are. I'll give you that much. Tug says, Nothing so true has ever been said, Emily. Too true, correct. Oh, yeah, we should probably do scores, shouldn't we? We just had a game. Okay. Zublix is 7 for 8. Gary Carpenter says Lady Goo Goo. Tracy is 10 for 10. Amazing, Tracy. Musical says, we fat bottom gals made the world go around. I love that song. I used to sing it when I was in college. I love that song. John says, I'm ready for Gal Gadot trivia. Haha. I could do a whole show on her, actually. She's had an absolutely amazing life. She's just so like, oh, but Gary Cameron is 8 of 10. Emily's so true, sweetie. That Queen is absolutely amazing. Yes, they certainly are. And Tug is 10 for 10. My Flex says, great show. Thank you. Thank you. And QT says, threw another shrimp on the bobby. Throw another shrimp on the bobby. What Australian are we talking about? Not one person pointed out though that Rush is actually Canadian. They're not English. While we're on the subject, but I will Barbie the shrimp. Tug says he'll have to learn how to pronounce her first name. Gall. I have a lot of gall. Terrell says 10 for 10. Excellent. What do you mean it's 10 for 10? Cindy's a perfect score. Melissa's 10 for 10. Sean is 10 for 10. Hell is frozen over. John is 10 for 10. Emily says, or maybe I should have sent this emoji instead. Peach. Oh, that's cute. Well, this is his first time for me. Music Girl says, Thrash, can the quizzes be about music trivia every week? For a while, I have a stack of questions that thick, so yes. Emma Miller is 9 for 10. John Doe says, I'm really intrigued with the next Summer Olympics. It's returning to LA. It's been 40 years since the last time. It has. It had the Reagan Olympics that the Russians boycotted that one, didn't they? We cleaned up, if I remember correctly. Gary Cameron says, Sean, so has the Sahara. Tracy says, see you guys. Have a nice week. You too, Tracy. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining us, my dear. Tug says, I'm not a shrimp. I am a king prawn. I love it. Prawn. I'm a king prawn. Dominic D says, I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride it where I like. Someone says, I remember the closing ceremony for the Sarajevo Winter Olympics. So touching and more tragically. So when you realize what happened afterwards, yeah, there's no country there. Music Girl says 10 out of 10 for moi this week. My first time getting a perfect score on one of Thrash's quizzes. So I'm glad you enjoyed. Dominic D's 9 for 10. And Emily says, John, that was really cool. I wish I could have been there for that. And Tug says, did you just say Emily has a cute peach. um, well, in the Georgia state, isn't that just like a way of saying like if someone's a peach? Like I don't know. I'm grabbing at straws here. Sydney says breaking dancing is now an Olympic sport. I was just on I was just on the Atomic Snack Bars channel, and he was doing like bits from late night TV, and one of them were scenes from the movie Breakin', and I'm like, oh my, Breakin's got to be 40 years old now, and I saw that in the theaters. I remember seeing that in the theaters. A lot of people said goodnight to one another. In fact, you know what? It's actually we only got about 14 minutes before Dave's show, and I promised I'd be off before he goes on. So why don't we nip it? I'll just read through a few last comments here. John says, I still remember as a kid the guy with the jetpack. Wow, I remember that too. Melissa says, we are the champions of the 10th trivia. Excellent. Indy says, thanks for the appetizer, Bob. Where's the real trivia? I'll try to make it a little more challenging for next week, I promise. Emily says, Cindy, I guess they don't realize ballet is pretty damn tough too. And Keith says 8:45. Indeed, Keith. You were too true. I should really wrap things up. And Music Girl says, I'm pretty excited about the Olympics this year, mainly for the gymnastics and the track and field. And on that note, guys, and he says, take care, Bob. On that note, yeah, I think we should wrap things up. I'm gonna like just basically say thank you so much. I had an absolute blast on it. I'm so glad you guys like the new trivia format. I'm so glad you guys were so interactive. We had 28 people at one point. I think my record is like 30, 32. But 28, that's a good number for me. A good solid number. I'm afraid if I had much more than that, there'd be so many comments I wouldn't be able to keep up. And I feel bad about every comment of you guys' that I miss. Like I said, if I missed anybody's, again, apologies. I'm pretty sure the only ones I missed were like the hi Emily, hi Cindy's, people having fellowship, which is great, but I don't have to read it because you guys get your own messages. Like I said, I have I'm probably going to be posting that channel update tomorrow. I would like to try to. I have a little content thing that I'm working on. Among other things, John's suggestion of 60s, 70s, and 80s cartoons. And of course, I will be doing a live chat next Sunday. Same bat time, unless I decide to change it, but I'll let you guys know first. But again, appreciate every single one of you. So glad you guys could make it tonight. Um, I really couldn't do the show without you. So, everyone, please, until next week, take care. Be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.